So just thought we'd give you a video update on the ID-Buzz. So we've had this now for 16, 17 months maybe, and this has now done 12,500 miles. Just thought it'd be a good opportunity to give you an honest update on our opinion of the ID-Buzz, what it's like to drive, what it's like to own, what it's like to use, the whole range, and just how it's worked for me to use. So this kind of became my daily. So you've previously seen my T6.1 video, the video of the van we recently just gave away with Kilty competitions. Well, that had so little miles on it because it had just sat in the yard being unused because the ID-Buzz came along. Now, I never really had any intention of this becoming my daily vehicle. I love the Transporter, I love the T6.1, I love the usability of it. But we got this, we did our modifications to it, and I fell in love with it. So just wanted to show you around, show you what we've done, show you the few changes you may have seen or may have noticed since the last time this was featured. You may have just seen this featured in VW Bus magazine. It was in the August edition and looked quite different to this. So I thought we'd have a spin round, show you what we've done, and then go out for a drive, and I'll explain what I think about the ID-Buzz, why I like it, and the reasons why I do. So first of all, externally, what's changed? Well, previously, when we first launched it, the whole top half was wrapped in like a graphite grey, which I wanted to lose, and I wanted to try and go back to that more kind of original classic look that the Buzz was inspired by from the original split screen camper. Now, I loved the two-tone, but I wanted to go back to the original yellow because I really chose this colour for the boldness of the yellow, and it kind of took that away. So you may have seen on our social media, but we had the roof wrapped gloss black. Andy Kelly, the guys over at Signs and Graphics UK, did that for us. So from there, what else has changed externally? Well, the most obvious thing is these wheels. So this is the fourth set of wheels this ID-Buzz has had now. The first two sets were pretty wild. The third set were kind of a regular set, and with me wanting to go for more of a classic look with it, that's why we decided on these wheels. So these are 21 inch, same as all the others, and they're kind of inspired by the original Fouche wheel that you would see on the original split screen campers. That look looks so good, whether it's on a Porsche or whether it's on split screen or various vehicles. We kind of wanted to replicate that kind of modernness of the ID-Buzz with the original classic wheel. So this is a Navis, this is a one-piece forged wheel, 21s, same as the original vehicle came, because this is a first edition, which came with those as standard, but with that Fouche design. So it's got polished lips, polished centres, and the gloss black and polished lip centres. So around the front, not a lot has changed here from the original video. We've still got those gloss black and matte black badges. We'd originally flipped the colour of this grille, so this was originally all yellow. Now I just think, and this here behind was black. Now I've always thought it just looked a bit lost. It would look like one solid chunk. So Steve painted that for us, so we flipped the colours, painted the external part black and painted the section behind the same lime yellow as the colour of the vehicle. Still got the solo sunstrip on there. And then on the roof, you'll see, although it's looking quite dirty now, that it has the gloss black wrap on the top of that. The other thing we decided to do with the kind of newish look was we lost the original front splitter. So first time we launched it, it had a lower splitter here, and again, just with me wanting to go for that more of a classic look, we removed that front splitter. And then other than that, externally, the only other major change is the rear. We took off the rear spoiler. So at the background here, we had another gloss black spoiler, but again, just wanted to go with that kind of more rounded shape and keep it more of a traditional look. So that was removed and just replaced with more gloss black wrap to match the roof. As we stand here looking at it, the most obvious thing is it's low. It's lower than you would expect an ID-Buzz to go. So this has the solo air suspension and the new solo management. This is a fully height-based system. So the beauty of this is, I use this as daily, and 3 of my children still live at home, and they're all getting older now. So by the time you've loaded the kids up, you've chucked a load of stuff in the back, because it has such a big boot, you would start to have a difference in balance in height. Now this is the height-based system, so you feel this. The solo management allows you to, as you add weight, it detects that and it balances back up again. So even this is obviously aired out, so this is low, but when you're at your chosen ride height, if you start to add that weight, it increases the pressure in the bags to balance it back out again, so it always sits and ride level. So inside, as you've seen previously, we had all the interior retrims. Now I didn't like the original seats. They were kind of the grey, white and yellow centres. The downside of that is 3 kids and various other things is going to cause those to get grubby. In the very short space of time they were in this vehicle, they did already show signs of getting grubby. So we retrimmed it all with this black leather and Dynamic Alcantara, the suede effect centres, with the yellow stitching to match the outside of the vehicle. In the front, you've probably seen before, but we changed all the front seats. So same style and same pattern again. with the same detail in the seats, but we had the sports backs. So these are off a VW, I think it's an Octavia VRS, but the higher sports backs with the more support in the centre section. The front there, the only thing that's changed very recently is these had a terrible reputation for the steering wheels peeling. Now, I'd seen people talking about this and I just couldn't understand it because mine was absolutely fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the steering wheel started peeling. And I think they used like a vegan leather. And as soon as it started peeling, it just continued to peel. But really simple process, got in contact with our local VW dealer. They had it in within a week, and they put a brand new genuine real leather steering wheel on it, which feels so much nicer, but just feels, you can just tell by the texture it's real leather and a lot better than the original vegan one they put in. So that's all been replaced very recently, and it's absolutely spot on and immaculate since. Yeah, so internally the other thing we did in this vehicle is we changed all the audio. So again, we did a whole feature on this, but this had an Alpine audio system put everywhere. When I very first picked this up, we did a video and I'd mentioned then how lacking the audio was and how it just wasn't particularly inspiring. But then they never are a standard, so set Mitch the task to sort the audio out for me. He changed all the speakers, upgraded every speaker in it to an Alpine audio system, and then added the rear subwoofer that went under the back section there, so it's out of the way, out of sight, out of mind, but improves the sound quality so much. This thing actually sounds brilliant while you're driving along. The audio is superb. In the rear, so this being a first edition, didn't come with a multi-flex board, which is this section here, which is about £1,000 upgrade. I was quite disappointed when I realised it didn't come with them. So we got one of those off VW, installed it all, so it now has the multi-flex board in it. But internally, you see there's a camping chair there. There's so much space. This thing is absolutely brilliant. Your cables and your storage and everything can all go into there. The double shelf is just really handy. You can pack it full of loads of stuff. Love the boot space. It's been super practical to use as a family vehicle. That's it externally, that's how it looks. This is, of the various looks it's had in this time we've owned this vehicle, this is my favourite look. The wheels just look stunning. I think it really suits it. So anyway, let's jump in, let's take it for a drive, and let me tell you about why I like it so much on the inside. Right, so first of all, with this having the solo air management in it, and I've aired this thing out, so the next thing we're going to need to do is air it up. So dead simple, just choose the ride height options. You've got various different various different presets, but if we're going to go for ride height, now once that lifts, we can set off and away we go. So drivability wise and usability, I can't fault this thing. My initial concerns were always going to be, as everybody's problem is with these or anything electrical, is range. When you're used to driving a vehicle, a combustion engine that you can stop at a fuel station, you don't have to think about forward planning your electricity and how much charge you've got. How would I get on with it? Well, in the 17-18 months that I've owned it now, it's never once been a problem. Now, I don't use this to do particularly long hauls. I generally go from home, which is about 10 miles away, do the school run in it, go to the gym in it, come here in it. We have a charger at work, we have a charger at home. I probably charge this once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week if I've got more journeys than I would normally do. But so far, it's not been a problem once. No, that's not true. Once it was a problem. When we launched this, we took it to Cafe in the Machine, and it was brand new to us. We'd kind of completely forgot about the fact that we needed to pre-plan the charging to go to Cafe in the Machine. I went to use it and it was not, I just didn't have enough electricity to get there. Drove to Rugby service station and they have a rapid charge there. I think it charged to 80% in like 15 minutes from what it had. It was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing. By the time I'd plugged it in, gone inside, grabbed a cup of coffee, come back out, it was 80% charge, which was more than enough. Other than that, I've been on one long trip, or longest trip, to Manchester. I probably could have just made it there and back, but just being a bit cautious, I did stop closer to home and just top it up ever so slightly while I happened to be going to the services anyway. But I get it, I understand why people are hesitant, the whole range thing, but for me and my usage, it doesn't bother me at all. And if anything, like, I don't like visiting a fuel station. I don't like stopping to get fuel. It's a waste of my time. And having the ability just to charge it at home and at work has just been brilliant. I've preferred this to having a van that you have to stop and put diesel in. Let's just put it that way. I like the sound, I like the quietness of it. Now, there's nothing better. I am no converted electric person. I'm not saying electric vehicles are the future, and you compare them to the sound of a V8 or a big petrol engine, you're never going to beat that. But it certainly sounds better than the noise of a diesel engine, that's for sure. the quietness of them is actually harder to get used to, because you're kind of more aware of road noise from tyres, although that is very quiet too. But once you get used to it, when you do drive a vehicle that has a combustion engine, it kind of feels loud and noisy. There's two different driving modes with this. You can have the one where it regeneratively brakes for you, and you can have the standard mode when it doesn't. I tend to always drive this in the braking mode, and then again, when I get in a regular vehicle, I kind of forget, because this does a lot of the braking for you. It's pretty much wonderful at driving. And I've just grown used to that now, and when I drive anything else, it kind of feels dated. The infotainment system on this is brilliant. First, it took a while to get used to it, but when you get used to it, it's so intuitive. It connects really easy to your CarPlay. The reverse camera on it's brilliant. The usability of it and the access to the menus to change all the colours and all the other features in it is absolutely brilliant. It's just so user-friendly. I think VW have done an absolutely amazing job with the ID-Buzz. It surprises me. Other than their cost new, I just don't see why more people don't buy them. I get that it's got a lot of money for what it is, but owning one and using one for as long as I have, I'm sold on them. I have to say, this is my favourite vehicle I've ever owned, and I've owned some cars and some nice cars, and it's my favourite daily, my favourite use vehicle for my kind of style of use, with my size of family, the stuff I need to carry, the journeys that I do. There is no better vehicle on the market than the VW ID-Buzz in my mind. One of the things that's most interesting about this is the looks you get from people. So initially when they were new, I could see people looking at it not really sure what it was. But then after a period of time when people got used to seeing them, it's just looking at people smiling. And first of all, I was like, are they laughing at that? But they genuinely look at it and smile, because it's just so nice to look at. It's so unusual and pretty and kind of quirky in its own way. Now, a few months ago, we took this to Ultimate Dubs, and on the stand we had an Aston Martin on air suspension, we had the only 992 Turbo S in the world on air suspension, we had a Chevy truck, we had various different things, and this got so much attention. Like, it just, people were stopping to take photos of it, they were wowed by it. And driving there, I was driving there in the Porsche, and behind me was Craig, actually, he was in this, and just watching people not really paying attention to the other bunch of cars and just standing and staring at the ID-Buzz and looking at it in the rearview mirror. It just has such a presence on the road. The lighting on the front, with this obviously being lower, with it having air suspension, obviously just makes it more appealing to look at and just different to what people are used to. But it just has that look that says it's happy, it's smiley, it's just a fun looking vehicle to not only use but drive. I love it, my kids love it, generally as a family it's been brilliant. Everybody at THQ loves it. Every time we post pictures of it, it gets a good response. I get it. There's haters out there, and people are always going to hate on anything electrical. Right, as I said previously, I'm not saying electric vehicles are the future. I'm not saying it's what everybody should own, but I wouldn't discount owning one. There's definitely a market for them. There's a space for them in travel. For me and my use, they're brilliant. I genuinely really like them, and I particularly like the ID-Buzz. VW have done a blinding job with this thing in every way that I could think of. If I was having to criticise it, originally, I really struggle with the haptic feedback buttons. I've mentioned that previously in a video, it bothered me. The audio wasn't great, but we sorted that. I've actually got used to the haptic feedback buttons now. Yeah, it's still like a push button that's a lot more simple and easy to use. I don't need the haptic feedback on it, but I've got used to it now. It doesn't bother me. The cruise control works really well, the volume control, everything about that system is just, you just adapt to it. It's just different. So initially that's why it seems like it's not what you would prefer, until after use you realise that it's okay, it's just not what you had previously. So now we're parked up, it's easier to go over some of the other features. So internally it's packed full of features. There are USB-C chargers everywhere, there's cup holders everywhere, there's a centre console with a bottle opener built in, this section removed, there's chargers throughout all of the seats in the back of the vehicle. Space wise, you can comfortably fit, my children are, I'll probably get this wrong, 14, 12 and 10, and then you can comfortably fit them across that space in the back there. Something my 14-year-old's adult size now, really, and it doesn't feel cramped like it does in a car. There's plenty of space. Climate control works really well, the parking sensors work really well. The lane assist on it was extremely annoying, so I found that I live in a narrow country windy road, and as I pull out of my gate, and as I'm driving down the road it would constantly want to be slightly pulling me into the middle of the road. Now you can turn the lane assist off on these, but every time you cycle the ignition, or every time you turn it off and on again, it would come back on. But we did manage to turn that off permanently with VCDS, so within the ECU you can just tell it to memorise the last thing that you did, so you can turn it back on and it will stay on, but we've just set it so it remembers the last position you put it in. Heated seats are a lovely feature. I absolutely love the heated steering wheel on this. It sounds really snobby, and never thought I wanted a heated steering wheel, but after I've had a heated steering wheel now, I like to have an ice bath in the morning to be able to warm my hands up while I'm driving along. It's a great feature in the winter. Anything that doesn't have it now just feels out of date. The sound makes me sound really snobby, but it's just a feature I've got really used to using. So the big question everybody talks about with these is range. How much do you get? So I think VW safe figures the other side of 200, maybe 230. Realistically, with the type of journeys I do, I probably get 150, 160, but that is because mine are very stop-start, short runs, home, work, gym, school runs. You know, they're such short journeys, and everything's local and close to me. I don't ever do a long run. When I have done Manchester and back, at one time, you know, it was a decent long run, and I think probably would have got the other side of 200 miles. But again, it hasn't been a problem to me because I just charge it when I'm at work, or I charge it when I'm at home over the weekends if I need to. I probably do charge it once a week, very rarely 2 times a week, as I said previously. So that's it really. I just wanted to give you an update for people that were unsure. It's when you have a vehicle and you watch these reviews on videos, and there's nothing like a long-term test, and nobody had an ID-Buzz to tell you what the true long-term test is. Now, as I said, I wasn't expecting to have this or use this for so long, but this is nearly done 2,500 miles now. I've had it for close to 17, 18 months now, and I've absolutely loved every single mile. And I would highly recommend the ID-Buzz to anybody that's thinking about buying a family-sized vehicle. It's not going to replace your Volkswagen Transporter. It's a completely different platform, but there's a space for it. Super practical, good-sized, all-round electric vehicle if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. And as crazy as it sounds, and I never thought I would say this when I picked this up, this is my favourite vehicle of all the things I've owned, and I cannot think of another vehicle that would suit me and my usage more. And I've kind of toyed with the ideas. I've gone through all of the options that are available now throughout the market and thought, right, what would be a better vehicle for me if I replace this? And there is no other vehicle. The space, the size, the look, the style, the usability, how it works, this has been my favourite vehicle I've ever owned. Having said that, it's time for it to move on. So this is going to be at Gravity Show. We need it to show off the solar suspension and the wheels. So if you're heading over there, go and take a look. If all goes to plan with what we think we're going to do with Kilted competitions, this thing will be raffled there and moving forward. But watch this space and we'll give you more details after the Gravity Show weekend. So I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit different to the other things we do. I just wanted to give you a bit more of an update on the time we'd had with the ID-Buzz and just give you our true real life experience of using it. If you have enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button. It means a lot. The more people that like it, the more YouTube show it to other people. If you're interested in ID-Buzz, or you know anybody else that's interested in ID-Buzz, please do share this video with them. If you're interested in this ID-Buzz, keep watching, because there's a possibility you could own this for a very small amount of money. And as always, thanks for watching.